Fish makes a great main course, and today we'll prepare salmon with mustard sauce. Angel cake isn't hard to make when you know how. But first, a versatile potato dish. Who doesn't like baked potatoes? Especially when they have lots of onions, oregano, and tomatoes in the oven. Great dish and a great accompaniment for salmon with mustard sauce, which we'll be making next. So let's start with the potatoes. Have lots of onions sliced. You need lots of onions for this dish. Peeling potatoes, that's rather simple. And slicing it in rounds, not too thick, because we want this to cook rather quickly. Let's put them all in a bowl. And onions, since we cut the potatoes thin, we'll cook quickly the onions as well. Loads of onions. And in here, the aroma is dry oregano. Now, oregano, you know, I like fresh herbs, but oregano somehow stands out better if it's dry. And I love, you know, you can get it in those little bottles, but by then, you know, those bottles, all the aromas are gone. Get this little flour, kind of dried flour, the whole stem, and all you do is just squeeze a little bit, and here we are. The aroma is really intense. It's kind of between the mint and the basil and thyme and all of those. Put it back in, and you save it for next time. Keeps nicely in a dry place. Make sure that I break them all in small pieces. That's perfect. So we'll put some of it right in here with the potatoes, and we'll save some of the dry oregano for the tomatoes. Olive oil. Need some salt. Okay. And let's toss this well. Okay. Nice roasting pan. Let's put some oil and let's brush the oil evenly. Okay. And now we put the potatoes and lots of onions right in here. Okay. Spread it out nice and even, so this way it all cooks at an even pace. We need some oil here. Here we have the tomatoes, the little cherry tomatoes, nice and ripe. Cut them in half. Again, let's season them. Let's put the oregano in the tomatoes now. Let's put all of it in there. Salt. And grated cheese. Grana Padano, Parmigiano is fine. If you like a little more zest to your, a little more flavor, then you can put a pecorino, grated sheep's milk cheese. And let's spread this evenly. Okay, just like that. Okay. Just a little more cheese right on top. And as is, in the oven. 425 degrees preheated for about a half an hour. The potatoes will cook, the tomatoes will crunchy up, and it'll be delicious, really good. Now, I was telling you about that dry oregano. Well, here is some fresh oregano, and fresh oregano is delicious too. But in this case, I like the dry. It takes you right down to southern Italy, Sicily, Puglia, all of those. They use a lot of dry oregano. The most important thing in cooking fish, it's the freshness. And nobody knows it better than David Bastianich. He's the chef owner of Esca Restaurant, but That's his secondary job. He really likes to go fishing. And I went fishing with him quite a few times. Right, Dave?
Absolutely.
But fish, what do you look for? What's the essence of cooking fish?
Patience.
Patience, catching it or cooking it?
Both. Very much patience.
Now, salmon, you know, everybody loves salmon. How do you choose your salmon?
There's a bunch of different varieties. The basic variation in the different salmons is the amount of fat to marbling, like buying a piece of prime beef. Now, this piece of fish here, you have good marbling in the belly, which is one of the things that you want to see. The fish isn't really bright orange, which is also good. Sometimes the salmon could be a little bit more red.
Just the species and what they eat. And how do you keep fish fresh in a house setting, you know?
You want to keep it in a cold part of the refrigerator. If you're buying a fillet, put it in a Ziploc bag, squeeze all the air out of it, because the air is no good for the fish. You can put some ice in a Ziploc bag and put it right on top. That's also a good idea.
As long as the ice doesn't touch the fish.
Exactly.
Great tips, great tips. Thanks, Dave. A great side of salmon. I mean, they're easy to get today and they're delicious. And you know, yes, you can buy them in portions, but it's easy to handle, especially if you have a family larger than 4. You know, a side like this will be easy. So what do we look for? You look for a nice, firm salmon like this, and you run your fingers here right through the middle. What you're looking for is the little bones, and your fishmonger should have plucked them all out. So make sure that when you get a whole side of salmon, you get a nice, firm side of salmon that is not slippery, or that it's nice and dry, firm, and that it has no bones in the middle. Then, to take the skin off, well, what you need is you need a nice, long, kind of almost carving knife that is sharp, and you sort of slice in there, and slowly you feel it, you see? And you look at it once in a while, you know, just in case. Chances are that you're not gonna go through if you just kind of, in a sewing motion, just go down and kind of press a little bit towards the board, but, all right, so, here we go. You see? And this is the skin. The skin, most likely you don't use, but we want to make this in portion size, so we want to make them even. We'll cut this part off, so I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me cut it right here, okay? These are great pieces of salmon, and they're great because you can make salmon tartare with it. You can also make salmon hamburgers. So when you trim your salmon like that, save these. This makes a great, chop it up, a little tartare as an hors d'oeuvre, nice and fresh. Just chop it up very fine with the knife. You put a little bit of onion there, you can put a little bit of oil, you can put a little sour cream, you can put a little bit of lemon, whatever your flavors tell you. And out of this, we will make the portions. 1, 2, 3. Here I have a little bit left over. So here is the salmon, all nice and ready. Sometimes the scales come off, so make sure that you just wipe them off, but they're perfectly fine. And you know, salmon doesn't take all that long to cook. We'll just brown it lightly and a little bit of oil. We'll remove it to the side. Then we'll make the sauce. And then we'll return it to the sauce when we're actually ready to serve it and cook the last few minutes. Salmon is very fragile, it sort of flakes. But if you have a nice piece like this, it's fine. And if you handle it gently with a spatula, you'll be just fine. If you intend to grill this salmon, and you could do that, you can grill this portion, make your sauce separately, and then put it on top. Then I would keep the skin on, because the skin keeps it together when you're grilling it, so you can handle it properly on the grill. And you can always remove the skin after you're serving it. So if you want to grill your salmon and make the sauce separately, leave the skin on. But if you want to saute it like this in the pan, take the skin out. Put the salmon in with the kind of belly side, not the skin side, the belly side down. This way you get the nice color, and then you can flip it over on the other side. So one way of looking at the salmon as it cooks is if you look at it sideways, right in here, and you can see the opaque part, and you can see as it is cooking. Help yourself with another, either a spoon or another spatula, because when you flip it over, it squirts. It's sort of the oil can jump out, and it can hurt you. So you don't want that to happen. Okay, we'll give it a few more minutes. Then we'll pull the salmon out, and we'll begin with the sauce. So as you can see, inside it is still quite rare, and we will finish cooking it in the sauce. We'll begin the sauce, but you know, this oil with the salmon has a very salmon-y kind of intensity, so I usually like to take that out. Just kind of wipe the pan off with a paper towel and continue. And here we'll put some butter, lemon juice, a good white wine. Just a drizzle of the oil and mustard. I will taste the sauce just to see at which point it is. Quite nice. A little bit of salt missing. I'll lower it a little bit. And I'll slide the salmon right in there without handling it too much. Okay. So this is simmering away. And the sauce could be quite good just like that. But if you put a tinge of cream, that sort of really makes it like velvet. So just a little bit on the side as it is bubbling. Shake it in there. And you let it simmer. Now, you can still see that it needs to cook. And this is a good time to shut it off if your guests are not here, if you're not ready, because it has another 3 minutes of cooking time. I will clean all of this up. We'll get the potatoes, and I think we'll be ready for dinner. All right. This is delicious. It smells good. It's nice and crispy on top. And let's check on the salmon. Yes, the salmon is just about ready. Velvety sauce. All right. So I think this, you could serve the salmon separately with the sauce and the potatoes separately, family style, but I think it's going to look so beautiful once we plate it and so delicious. So let's go right in here. Oh. Okay. This looks fantastico. All right. Let's go in for a piece of salmon. Just like that. Nestled right on those potatoes. Let's get some of the sauce. And the sauce, let the sauce kind of crawl underneath the potatoes. You want the crispiness of the potatoes to remain, but the sauce will slowly kind of creep out underneath. Just a little, oh yeah, yeah. Just a little bit of parsley. So, where do I begin? I want to taste the potatoes and the tomatoes first. Delicioso, delicioso, delicioso. The oregano, the cheese, the tomatoes. Now let's try the salmon. See, it's perfectly cooked. What you're having here is the complexity of the salmon, the mellowness of the potatoes, and then you have like high notes of acidity in the mouth.